Welcome back to K-Chat with me, your host, Kayla Morales. We chat all things from love to business to spirituality, health and wellness, and everything in between. This is a space of growth, understanding, and meaningful connection. And I'm so excited to share this episode with you all. So let's get to chatting. Today's guest is helping redefine what it means to listen by creating a space in the community where people can connect intimately with one another, all while their eyes are closed. Let's welcome Vibes Included founder Sofia Bodniza. Welcome.
Thank you, Kayla.
Thanks for chatting with me. I'm so
Of
excited.
course. I am too. I feel like our few conversations that we've had leading up to this has been really fruitful. So yeah, I'm
Yeah, I
excited.
agree. That's a good word. Um, so before we started recording, Sophia offered to lead me in a few breaths before we get started, and so let's go ahead and do that, and then we'll jump into the
Yeah.
convo.
Awesome. Can you hear me good? All is
Yeah,
good?
sounds good.
Okay.
Sounds great.
So I just want to say, like, before we get into the conversation, before we even start the breaths, the intention for doing the breaths in the first place is that I feel a lot of times when people are about to have a conversation or record a podcast or whatever it is, anxiety is present, right? And it's on a spectrum for like different people. Right now, my pits are sweating. For
Yeah,
you, maybe something else is
my
happening,
pits are always
so
sweating.
yeah.
Always. And my
Yeah,
legs tense up.
exactly.
My legs are like flexed right now.
All right. All right. That's good to know. Exactly. And so you're bringing up a good point of like, be honest with where you're at. So you know what to like start to loosen up and like where to direct the breath, right? Because if not, you're kind of just breathing and you go into this conversation and you're still tense in those places. So anyways, let's get it. All right. So
Yeah.
I'm going to bring my feet to the floor because I had them scrunched up and crisscross applesauce. Are we still saying that?
Yeah.
All right. So my feet are flat on the floor. I invite you to close your eyes, Kayla. And let's take a deep breath in, hold it at the top. Drop your shoulders and release. Deep breath in, hold it at the top. And release. One more deep breath in, hold it at the top. And release. Keeping your eyes closed, begin to find your natural breath. We hold a lot of tension in our faces. So when I say relax a certain part, just kind of let it drop, let it hang a little bit. So relax your eyebrows, relax your eyelids, relax your cheeks. Still breathing. Relax your jaw. Relax your throat. Relax your chest. Let your shoulders drop. Let's take a big deep breath in. And release. And bring a small smile to your face. And whenever you're ready, you can begin to slowly open your eyes.
Ah, that feels so good. Oh my
Or I
gosh.
could keep going.
Oh my gosh. I feel so good. Thank you. That was
You're
awesome.
welcome. Yeah, you're welcome. It felt good for me too. It's interesting how like even though I'm leading it, it's almost like I like become separate from my own voice and I allow myself to just listen and just like, all right, or guide, go, you
When
know?
you're saying things, are they coming up like, are you saying like drop your eyebrows because you realize you're tensing yours, or is it just like kind of like a script that you now know you go through, or is it something you?
Um, yeah, that's a good question. I want to say it started like from a meditation I was following, and I was just like, oh shit, yeah, my eyebrows do be tense. Like
Yeah.
like my eyelids are jittery. Like, why is that happening? You know?
Yeah.
So I think I, man, I've been doing that for so long, so I really can't recall if like it was a meditation I was following or I just did it myself. I don't know, but even still, as long as I've been doing that, like my eyelids still jitter when they close, you
Yeah.
know, initially. And it's just like, wow, like I really do hold so much tension here, you know?
Mhm.
Um, yeah. So,
Yeah, that's for me too. I definitely hold it in my face as well, and in my stomach. Like
hmm.
sometimes I just have to be like, let your stomach go. Like just like
Yeah,
allow yourself to
seriously.
like fully have that full like deep
Yeah.
breath.
Let that
Like,
thing drop.
yeah, exactly. That's where I
Let
hold
that
it.
lunch show, you know?
Yeah. Exactly. Let's talk about your journey with meditation and like conscious living. And yeah, how'd you get to where you're at today?
Girl.
Good luck.
Um, thanks. I'll take it. Yeah, so I would say when I was 18, I got invited to this meditation gathering, and it was a spark. This guy Kevin Walton, he still does them. Invited me to the meditation gathering, and from then on, I was just like, oh shit, like I've never just sat in silence.
Mhm.
I've never like allowed myself to listen to what's up here without either drinking and then thinking or like allowing myself to be in reflection of someone else and then thinking like i I was guided into meditation where I was just like, oh, okay. And so fast forward, I kept going to them, and eventually I started doing them in my own apartment. And I was like, this is personal medicine, like it
Mhm.
needs to be shared. I think when something like really works for you, you don't hold on to that, like
Yeah.
share it with people just like you're doing now.
You definitely
You
have
you
like
have
a
a platform.
responsibility. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to. So yeah, I started doing the meditation gatherings in my apartment, and slowly but surely, like more and more people started coming. I moved it to a venue. I moved it back down to Miami, vibes included. Started building, and yeah, that was like my connection with conscious living within community.
Was that
It
your
started with self.
Yeah, was that your first time leading a group? When you started this, was it your first time leading a group, facilitating a group through conversation or through a meditation? Was it the beginning of that
Yeah,
or oh yeah.
yeah. And I was living in New York at the time. So I say that to say like for those who have lived in New York or know New Yorkers, like you got to come through with this confidence, you know? And
Mhm.
so, like, although I was kind of new to leading meditations, I came through with the confidence, like, yeah, like I've been doing this for years, you know what I mean? Like, and it wasn't until like retrospect where it's like, nah, man, like humble yourself. Like people
Mhm.
appreciate that way more when they see that like you are learning with them, when they see that you are like not preaching to nobody, like you
Mhm.
are there to grow with them. And so in the evolution of vibes included, in the evolution of myself, I started like uh becoming one with my people, not like Sophia and the people. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah, it makes
So
perfect
that
sense.
really, yeah, that really helped me in my like I don't know, just living not so much for just self.
Yeah. I feel like
Yeah.
that requires a certain level of like vulnerability to like even allow yourself to be like deeply in community with other people, especially while you're leading it. And I think for myself, like as a teacher and as a facilitator, it's still hard for me to remember like it's okay to be learning and listening and like
Mm,
actively doing all the things while holding this conversation. You know,
yeah.
like I always feel like I have to
Yeah.
juggle other things when really if I just let those things go, I'd be able to like like present myself in a much more valuable way to everyone else if I were
Mm.
fully in like in the conversation. Does that like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
about.
Absolutely. Yeah. It sounds like if you allowed yourself to be more curious in the
Exactly.
conversation, then you could show up as a student and not just a teacher.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that.
How did you get to the place where you're like okay to do that? Like okay to kind of let go and be like, okay, like I can allow myself to be more curious in this way. How
Hmm.
did you explore that? Like how did you Sorry, I don't even know what the question is that I'm asking,
No,
but
no, no,
I
no. I'll take it. I'll joke a bit. How did I allow myself to be more curious, like within community? You're asking.
Yeah.
Um, I have to give the credit to the people around me
Mm,
that were showing up to these spaces. They were showing up to. They were showing up with open hearts. Maybe it sounds cliche, corny, whatever you want to call it, but they were showing up ready to feel, ready
mm,
to listen, ready to grow. And you can't help but to mirror that when you see that. Like, I've been around some of the best people of my life in these vibes included gatherings
mm.
because like they're ready to crack open and like show themselves. Um, so yeah, when you see that, it's just like that actually looks like it feels mad good. like
Yeah.
I'm gonna join you in that,
Yeah.
and like not only am I going to join you, but I'm kind of like a little competitive too. So like not only am I going to join you, but I'm going to like be even more vulnerable than that. And I think
Mm,
vulnerability is contagious, right? So like me coming back with more vulnerability allows the other people to like want to open up even more. And then once those two people and multiple people are in that space seeing that, it's like inner revolutions are happening, and
mhm.
now it's just like it's powerful. It's
Yeah.
powerful. Yeah, vulnerability is.
How I was thinking while you were saying that, and now I completely lost it. No, but I'm
It's
gonna find
okay.
it.
We're here.
I'm gonna find it. What does vibes included mean to you? Like,
Mm.
so you're opening a space for people to be really vulnerable, and you're doing that because you believe it's so powerful. What did that mean to you?
Hmm. So I'm going to answer this question in parts,
Okay.
in past and in present,
Okay.
and hopefully in future part. So past, it meant, um, hmm, it was more of like an experiment to me of like how much of myself can I uh, give to people and not. And let me just say, like, all these vibes included gatherings were absolutely free, except the last one, which
Mm,
whatever. But all of them were free for the last 4 or 5 years. And I emphasize that to say, like, it was never about money. It was never
yeah.
about like trying to get to some corporate level or business, anything like that. Like, it was for the people, by the people. Like, it wasn't even just me either. I always had like co-facilitators. Every single gathering was a different person. And so I think what it meant for me then was like, man, I'm kind of getting like a little sentimental because I haven't done it in a while,
Yeah.
and I know we kind of talked about this. Um, yeah, I haven't done it in a while. And as I'm talking about it, I'm like, the fuck are you doing? Like, go do it again.
It's powerful.
Like people are out here like going to bars, they'll go to the gatherings,
Mhm.
Um, so anyways, that transitions me into now it feels like a relationship where like the beginning was so like, let's go, like let's do it all,
Yeah.
and like let's invite everyone and like tell those people to tell people to tell people, like bring their cousins, like tell people at red lights, everybody must come,
Yeah.
and now it's like I'm this hermit of like, oh no, like I have way too much like shit in me. And like I'm scared to show that. And I don't even know where to start
Mm.
because I haven't done it in so long. And I think when we stop practicing something, um, fear rises, right? And like we
Yeah.
start talking ourselves out of really good things that can benefit a lot of people, or even just one person. Like forget
Yeah.
it being about multiple people. Like you could change one person's life, you know?
And
And
in
so I think
return, they then change like all
other
these other
people's
lives that
lives.
they touch. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember maybe like a year and a half ago, I also went on another little hiatus, and this one person called me saying he got in a really bad car accident. Someone who used to come to Vibes Included religiously got in a really bad car accident, almost died. The four people he was with all died in that car accident except him. And he goes, Sophia, the first thing I thought about was Vibes Included. And I was like,
Whoa.
what? He's like, yeah, like if you don't plan to do the gatherings anymore, that's fine. But I need to start creating community gatherings just like you did. And I was like,
Whoa.
word, okay, like, okay. And then we started it up again, monthly, etc. And then, yeah, COVID happened, XYZ. But the point is that like, it circles back to you don't know who you are affecting and how they are taking it, even if they just come to one gathering.
Yeah.
And this goes with anything, like even people who listen to this podcast and your other podcasts and the future podcasts, like you don't know how what you will say will affect people. So say it,
Yeah.
be honest, be open, and those were the spaces that were being created
Yeah.
at Vibes Included.
Wow. It's powerful. Like honestly, just hearing the concept, I knew it was powerful. I wish I made it to one. I'm sure I'll make it to one in the future.
You will, bro.
um,
You will.
but what fears do you think are coming up that are you do not have to answer this at all. This is just a question that came to mind.
Listen,
But what
go
fears are coming
ask.
up for you that are holding you back from starting it again?
Are people gonna come? Do people still care? I've been so on and off with like, oh, here's a gathering. Okay, months without a gathering. Here's a gathering. It's like, what kind of leader am I being? And so this is all just negative talk. I'm not saying this is truth, but this is like
Mm-hmm.
literally what goes on in my head. And so I think the more I push it, the more I push it away, it still keeps coming back, and people still keep asking about it. And I'm just like, stop! I don't want to do it right now. You
Yeah.
know, yeah. So they're irrational fears, limiting beliefs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I guess to give myself a little bit of slack, like I've been through some shit this year. I'm sure
Yeah.
you have. Everyone listening, like we've been through some shit this year, and so yeah, it's part of like the evolving process that like sometimes things just get weeded out, sometimes
Yeah.
temporarily, sometimes permanently. um yeah, I've had to like really be with myself first before I can extend myself to other people like I was so fully and wholeheartedly. And I think when I do it again, like it's gonna be fire.
Heck yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I think stepping away and allowing yourself to heal is like is part of being very intentional. Like, it's part of like you caring for them so much and their needs. Um and obviously like you have every right to decide how to do that for yourself.
Mhm.
But man, I don't know where I wanted to go next with this. I'm sorry, I keep going on and off. Like I'm just thinking about so
No,
many
I'm
things.
I'm here. I'm here.
Um, I guess when you're facilitating these conversations, do you have a script prepared? Do you just kind of go intuitively, like the actual facilitator? So everyone, actually, do you want to
Mhm.
explain what happens at an event or Vibes Included, or how you would run a guided meditation with people, just so we can set the frame of mind for
Sure.
that,
Yeah, yeah. I guess
and
it's
then
kind of
I'll
like,
ask.
what is this thing?
Yeah,
Um, yeah, so I'll give the brief overview, but again, I do want to emphasize like we're just not doing it anymore right now. You
yeah,
know, like it's been since March that we haven't had one, March 2020, and yeah, things have
yeah. Sorry,
changed.
I'm more setting.
Uh,
Yeah, things have happened. I'm more just want to set the stage for your talents, because facilitating
mm,
conversations is a talent within itself. But then
yeah,
setting
yeah.
the stage for such vulnerable conversations, and like opening spaces for people to be like deeply vulnerable with one another. Um, yeah, I just wanted to set the stage for that, because I think those are like talents that you were like gifted with, and I want to like explore those. But first, I have to start with like Vibes Included. So like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, thank you. And thank you for the compliment.
yeah,
Um, yeah, so I wouldn't, I wouldn't like script out every single word, but there was definitely an agenda for each Vibes Included. And
okay,
how some of so an overview of a Vibes Included gathering, the signature of it is eyes closed conversations with strangers. So people would show up to the event. It was usually like a cafe that also had like a yoga studio in it, and so we would all be in the yoga studio, and it was like the mood lights. It was really fire. And there was always a co-discussion leader where I would work with him or her, them, before the gathering, and we would develop creative questions around a theme that they wanted to talk about. So I always had a worksheet that they would fill out prior of questions like, what's been on your mind? Like, what's something that you have been wanting to share with people, but just haven't had the space to share? And so they would answer these questions and would get on a phone call. I would dissect it. It was almost like a mini therapy session. It was pretty cool.
that's really cool. Yeah,
Um, and so we would dissect these questions or dissect this expression of this person and then turn them into a theme and then turn them into questions. Sometimes it would be one phone call, it'd be an hour long. Sometimes it would be broken up into 2 phone calls or even 3, whatever support they needed. I wanted to make sure I was there to help them get ready to present to the community questions to then, the community members, like, to receive, to answer among each other. Um, and so, yeah, day of, it looked something like we would do like an icebreak activity. Um, and then I would pair people up within an activity. It would usually be 2 people speaking, answering, it was like 3 to 4 questions, a bell in between each question. And they would answer with their eyes closed. Um, and I would give them tips before closing their eyes. First, it would be a meditation. They would close their eyes, and I would let them know, like, if you feel uncomfortable with your eyes closed while you're speaking, that means that it's working, right?
yeah,
Like, this isn't supposed to be a comfortable exercise, but it will deepen your listening because like now you're blocking out sight, so your
yeah.
ears have to enhance, like your brain literally has to dig for other sources of information to listen better.
Mhm.
um and so yeah, it took people on a trip. It was really great.
Yeah,
I would always have my eyes open, and like, man, there are multiple occasions where I would see people crying, people reaching out for each other's hands, and like, these are strangers, Kayla,
yeah.
you know? So yeah, once that was over, I would guide them out with another meditation, and then we'd have a group discussion. Now everyone's eyes are open, it's popcorn style, people are just talking. And yeah, I mean,
Sounds
that's
fun.
like the gist of it. But the space was really to just like, we said it in a prior conversation, to like allow yourself to be, like,
Yeah.
allow as the keyword. And I think a lot of people felt that in that space, that they had permission to allow their feelings, to feel their feelings, and to um, allow other people's feelings too, like their partners,
Yeah. I
So
feel like once people
yeah, that's it.
break past that threshold of like,
It's
holding back, that
yeah.
once you get past that, it's so
Yep.
like fiery and like it's energizing, really.
You could do anything. You feel
Yeah.
like limitless.
Yeah, that's how I
Yeah.
feel about um because I feel that not the same fears, but I feel my own fears when it comes to like the podcast or acting or
Mm,
any of the other things that I do. Like, and I honestly, the only way I like combat it is just doing.
mm,
But sometimes with that, I feel like I leave out the intention and things sometimes, like
hmm.
I'm just so focused
Okay.
on just doing it so I can get it done that I like forget to step back and think like, okay,
Like, oh
well,
shit, why was I doing it?
why
Or
am
like,
I doing it? Yeah. And like, what
mm-hmm.
do I want to bring to the table? Like, what do I want to say? What messages are important to share? What aren't? Um, and just like the responsibility that you have when facilitating any sort of conversation or anything for the community. What
Yeah.
does community mean to you? Like how did you get involved? Because I feel like a lot of people live kind of like individual, like me versus them kind of lifestyles, especially
Mm,
nowadays.
yeah. Yeah.
Um and yeah, like how did you get started with thinking like, okay, I really want to be involved in my community?
Hmm.
I wonder if New York affected that
Yeah.
too, because I feel like there's a
Mm,
good sense of community
yeah.
in New York.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
But yeah,
interesting
guys.
yeah, no, I appreciate the question, and I appreciate you adding the context of like what New York possibly had to do with it. I think further back than that, I'm one of three siblings, so one of four. Um, and I say that to say I've just always been surrounded by like different personalities, and I think I fed off of that, right? Like these were my sources of like joy, but also pain, and like we just did so many things together, whether it was eating or like playing outside or whatever it was. So I almost like from childhood, I've had my sense of community at home,
Mhm.
and my mom is incredible. She literally never let us not eat dinner together.
Aw, that's
Like,
sweet.
you're not watching TV, get out of your room, let's go. We got hot dogs, like come
Yeah.
eat together. So yeah, I think it's interesting. I've never thought about it like that, but I think yeah, my sense of community started at home.
That's
And
fun.
so the more, as years pass, like I always try to find that within my circles, the people I was choosing to allow into my environment, the people I was allowing access to me.
Mhm.
Do they make me feel, do they allow me to be playful? Do they allow me to be goofy? Do they allow me to fart? Do they allow me to like just be, all right, these are my people. And so then moving to New York, yeah, I went there by myself. It was my first time being like completely independent.
Wow.
Um, I was 20 or 21. And yeah,
Why
again,
New
like,
York?
I wanted to act. I wanted to do stand-up comedy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I
Yeah.
remember
And
seeing that on something. That's
yeah,
that's cool too.
it was, man, if I took anything from stand-up, just be real, man. Like,
Mm,
I tried to fabricate so much stuff, and I think that's why I stopped. And like, yeah. Nonetheless, though, I like carried so much of that even till this day. Just like, people can feel the truth.
yeah, they really can.
You can feel the truth, and so I say that to say, like, I'm done. I'm done bullshitting people,
Yeah.
And in stand-up, I would bullshit people. A lot of my jokes were fabricated. A lot of my jokes were whack, you know? They were whack, seriously. And it's because I wasn't being honest.
Yeah.
Fully anyway. And so, anyways, coming back to community, like community to me, again, this year has been mad real. Community to me has started with me. Like, who am I to me? Who, like, am I showing up for myself? Am I showing up for myself on time? Am I taking care of my hygiene? Am I washing my armpits? Am I painting my nails if I want to? Am I brushing my teeth every day? Am I doing my bed? Am I making sure that I'm moving or sweating today? Am I feeling sad? All right, take a nap. Like, what is it? Because when I'm showing up for myself like that, it's reminding me that, like, this is how I want to show up for other people, and this is how I want other people to show up for me. And I think once, like, I have that structure, it's a sense of community. And I think a lot of people have like that, or I did for a long time anyway, like, oh, community, you think of like 10 or more people, you think of a throng of people, and it doesn't have to be that. It could be one person that makes you feel like, this is my people, this is my community, you know? And so, yeah, it's really sacred to me to feel that. Yeah, and it's interesting, as I'm speaking now, it's like I need to get back out there. I'm like ready to give of myself. Seriously, I'm ready to give of myself to people, you know? Like, yeah, you're broken, you're healing, but so are other people. Like they need that, you know? They need that realness. So
I think, like, I mean, rest is totally a form of resistance too, and like, and healing, and if you needed it, you needed it, you know? But I honestly think one of my like soul purposes, my purpose is to help other people get to like what they really should be doing, you know? That's like something I just like, I love letting people know, like, this is your talent, like, this is what you're for, like, you're so great at this, you can do it. And to hear that this conversation is kind of like bringing you back to a place where you feel open and wanting to do that again, that makes me really happy and excited for you. I'm sure you'll be great at like doing whatever you put your mind to, but I think when you set the intention to heal yourself and your community, like, I feel like there's just so much power behind that. And like, you know, I think that's what we're here for in general. Like, we should all be engaging in our community and helping each other heal and like uplifting each other and all that good stuff.
Yeah. And sometimes you gotta, you know, going back to like starting small, sometimes it means like having dinner by yourself or having dinner with one person. Like, how can you like really just show, like, it's almost, have you heard this saying, like, I'm like interchangeably using the word God, but like, God isn't going to give you more than you can handle, you know? And so it's the same thing with like people. Like, God isn't going to put more people in your life than you can handle. So like, start small, which is what I needed this year. And then when I'm ready, like, go, like, and be for others, so those people can be for others. And then like, it just kind of, I don't know.
It's a domino effect after that. It just extends it. I picture it like being like circles and they like fan out.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
like
So
your
like
small inner
ripples.
circle, then ripples, exactly.
Yeah. Also, my bad. My dog is kind of like snoring in the background.
Oh no, it's okay. My cat was like brushing against me and I was so scared he was gonna meow. How do you stay connected? I feel like you're good at doing this, and I kind of want to talk to you about this for myself.
Please.
But I feel like you're really good at just having like meaningful like captions and like stories. You know, I just feel like you're really good at like showing up authentically and just saying what it seems on my end, I'm sure it is, but like saying what comes to mind, and then it's just like thought provoking, and I'm like, I feel like I don't offer that and like my like
Mm.
social media really. Like I would love to, I just am not sure how. So if
Hmm.
that makes sense. Yeah, I don't know if it's just something I
Yeah.
like hold back, but
Yeah. Well, do you mind? I don't know if this is okay, but do you mind if I ask you questions, or do you want me to answer that
you
question
can
first?
totally ask me anything. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. You said that you feel the content that you're posting, you're not like offering offering authenticity or as much. Um,
Maybe, well,
what's that
definitely
like?
I definitely don't think, I don't want to say I'm not authentic. I try to be as authentic as I can be. But two things. I think it's hard. Man, you're gonna make me go deeper than I want to. Okay. I think it's
Go.
hard for me to show up authentically 100% anywhere. So whether it's on social
Hmm.
media or like I obviously I say like what I'm thinking and stuff like that, but there I think there's always parts of me that's just not
Censored.
available to everyone, like that kind of thing.
Mm.
Um, but I don't think my posts offer um like I don't think they're thought provoking. So I just haven't posted. I haven't been posting. It just doesn't inspire me at all. Like
Mm-hmm.
so it's been something I've just haven't done in like most of this year, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think your posts are always pretty
Yeah.
like, huh. And then I'm like, how does she do that? But I think that's part of facilitating conversations as well. It's like,
Mm.
it's part of like
Yeah.
one of your skill sets.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna add that like it's interesting that you're saying this about something that you have complete control over.
I
Like
know, I
they are
know it sounds
your
silly.
posts,
Yeah.
your pictures, your cat. You can literally write anything, right?
Yeah. I think it's the performance
Yeah.
aspect of things.
Mm,
Like, I think,
girl.
like,
Yep.
I think part of it is like for show, it has been up until like probably this past year,
Mm-hmm.
actually some of 2019 too, that I was like, okay, I'm just gonna like say what I feel like saying. And like some jokes are jokes, and probably no one thinks it's funny, but it's like I thought it was funny,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. But before then, I just thought it was like present, like
Hmm.
something to present.
Mm.
Like it's my best,
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever highlight
Yeah.
reel.
What other areas of your life do you feel like you're performing?
Um, well, my podcast a little bit. There's performance aspects to everything in life, and
Yeah,
obviously
absolutely.
I'm also an actor, and I believe like
Yeah.
I think acting teaches you so many things, and comedy about like real life, right? So there's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
there's different levels, but I think I don't know. I don't think I'm always performing, more than I'm like withholding. Like,
Hmm.
does that make sense? So
Mm.
I'm not like going
Yeah.
like I'm not
Yeah.
being extra, but I'm also like
Like,
just
hey, I'm
I'm
Kayla. Nice to
not
meet you.
giving 100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but that's a vulnerability thing that I have a problem with, is like just being completely
Hmm.
vulnerable with anyone.
What's your?
Especially when
I'm
I
sorry.
think
Go
it's for
ahead.
the record. So like especially
Mm.
online where it's like permanent kind of thing, or like even on my
Yeah.
podcast, I haven't been that vocal like myself,
Mm.
just because I'm like always nervous about like what the record is gonna like say, or
Yeah. Yeah.
kind of like
Yeah.
just the permanence of it.
Yeah. My mind is going to a few places. And if you allow me, I'll go there.
Let's explore, yeah. Why not? I knew you were gonna
So,
do this.
like shit, Sophia.
Yeah, I knew I was
Um,
gonna have her on. She was gonna
yeah.
make me talk.
Well, no, I mean it's both of us, right? Because
Yeah.
I'm not I'm not exempt from performance, you know.
Yeah.
There's even been moments throughout this where I'm like, don't look at the recording where it says recording. You're just talking to
Mhm.
Kayla. Like, don't
Mhm,
look at the
mhm.
recording. Just talk. Yeah. So, anyways, that's to let you know, like, I'm here with you, and I get
Yeah.
it. Um, and Instagram is a complete performance. Every social
Mhm,
media is a
mhm.
performance. Even yesterday, what I posted, yes, it's a performance and it's my truth.
Yeah.
Right.
See, I need more balance of the both.
I will say though, because it's interesting, a friend of mine, he texted me saying like, I want to be more like you with my posts. And my first response is like, stop caring what people are thinking. I know that sounds cliche and like an overused statement, but literally we like write to write, express to express, like don't express thinking like who's gonna like this shit or like who's not gonna like it and like how many people are gonna like it, et cetera, et cetera. Just like, yeah, the captions that I write, I usually write them in my notes beforehand, like before I post them in the
to yourself,
before I post it in the app.
As a caption.
With that one, it started as just like, what did I become this year? And so I just started writing and I'm like, oh, I should post this. I'm like, nope, too personal. But then I came back to it a week later and I was like, this is honest. And so like I moved a few things around and like, you know, added like the poetic element to it and stuff.
I don't think I saw it. I have to go look after.
Yeah, there's always at least one to a few people that reach out to me and just say thank you. And I think like that is my fuel. That's like, my honesty is affecting people. My honesty is impacting people for them to be honest and for them to be real with themselves, first and foremost. And I think like once we take that aspect and like, fuck the caption, like once we take that aspect and we're able to do it with people and just like day-to-day conversations, and we're able to like take the mask off, don't perform in this conversation, we're able to then like bring that into other aspects of our lives, whether it be a caption or whether it be a job interview or a relationship, whatever it is. And like, I really just wish that for all of us, you know? Like,
I wish that for myself too, and for everyone else.
Like,
but how do you think, what do you think taking the mask off looked like for you? Like, what work do you feel like, I mean, I'm sure it's an ongoing process, but you know what I mean? Like, how did you start getting to the point where you're like, okay, like I'm going to chip away at these things?
I'll say it's a daily chisel. I'm just, you know?
Yeah, just work on your masterpiece.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm like, my mind just goes sometimes in like joke mode. Anyways, so yeah, the daily chisel, which sounds like a good title.
Yeah, it does.
What does the mask look like when it's off is your question?
Like, what did it look like taking it off?
Well, it's not just a one go. Like, yeah,
it's a daily chisel.
I'll say the daily chisel because like literally every day I'm dying to the mask that I had, but then I end up waking up with a new one or like new pieces or like left behind from yesterday. Just like, damn, I didn't take the whole thing off. Or like, what parts of me did I like not show up in yesterday that like I'm still dealing with this today, you know? There's been, whatever, we finna be open. Okay, let's go for it. There's a new person in my life, someone that, anyways, a new person in my life that I've been interested in, and that I'm realizing like, wait, I can't even be fully myself around this person. Like, what is it that is like keeping me in this limbo where like I crave to connect with this person, but I also am retracting and only showing certain parts of myself. A performance, right? Yeah. And then I feel like that's hard in the beginning of any. It's mad hard in the beginning. Yeah. And I think it's also a level of impatience that like, damn, like this person doesn't like fully know me yet. Like, so what parts do I show? What I'm getting to though is that like I've tried to run away many times from this person. And even if I isolate myself from this person, the lesson will manifest itself in another form. I appreciate that you're smiling because I recognize that you're seeing this as truth, right? Yeah. Like whether this person or another person or 10 other people, like if I do not go through the experience now and sit with it and allow it, like it's just going to keep popping up, and it's
Yeah.
going to keep popping up until the lesson is learned. And so I'm staying in it to like feel the fire and allow myself to like, how much of myself am I not showing? How much of myself can I start showing? And I have to also recognize maybe this person just like isn't giving me permission to fully be myself. So it's
Mm,
not all on me, you know? Sometimes it
yeah.
really is other people that like, all right, homie, like I'm doing my best and like you're still
Yeah.
not showing up. Okay. Or you are showing up the best that you can. Cool. I see that. It is what it is, you know?
Yeah.
Um but man, the importance of really just being real, like, and not being afraid to like be judged, because I think
Yeah.
that's what it comes down to, that like we're scared to be authentic because we just, oh, like that person isn't gonna like me, or like I'm no longer
Yeah.
impressing this person. It's a form of rejection, right? And
Yeah.
so we keep the mask on because like, well, at least they like me, like at least I'm accepted by this person. But it's phony, it's a false comfort,
Yeah.
and I don't wish that for anyone, really, you know.
Yeah. It's funny because I feel like everyone craves the same thing, but it's a struggle for like
Mm-hmm.
everyone to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if only we could just like snap our fingers, and obviously, I mean, I guess that it's like we learn things along the way, but if only we could just snap our fingers and be at a place where like collectively we can all just be our authentic selves, and it's then accepted by like, on every level. um but yeah, that's
I don't
like
think it's, I don't
that's way
know.
ahead.
I'm gonna disagree there.
Go ahead.
Only because I mean, yeah, it seems like it would be fun. Like I could just be authentic now. But that like the space in between the snap is like the most important part.
Yeah.
It's like where you like learn the most. It's like the shit that you needed to go through to like get to the
I had a
authentic self,
feeling
right?
you were gonna say that. Yeah, I
I
mean,
know,
of
I
course,
know.
like the lessons along the journey is like the main part, right? Like it's not about where we're going, but I think it's just like such a big part of so many people feeling like lost, and like, just
Yeah.
like feelings that really
Yep.
we could just kind of like let go of if had we just like
Yep.
been ourselves, which
Yo.
it happens
Yep.
moment to moment, right?
Yeah.
And we can
Yeah.
choose how we want to authentically show up or not. um
Yeah.
but
You brought
yeah,
up
I
a
just
really
can't
good
do it
point
on
though.
social media though. Back to like, oh yeah, what were we gonna say?
No, 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 no. Continue.
Yeah,
It
I
was, it
just
was about
feel
people being lost, but it goes into the social media.
Yeah, I feel like, I guess sometimes being like authentic on social media or talking more about my feelings and stuff, sometimes I feel like they're not valid in a way, and I
Hmm.
think that's part of holding back, is that I'm just like, oh,
Mm,
this is corny, or this is like, yeah, this is too negative or something, when
mm,
in reality it's like it can't really be too negative. It's just
yeah.
your reality. But
Yeah.
those are things that hold me back, I think, and probably other people as well.
Yeah.
um
Yeah. I think, hmm. I think the reason why there's like this lack of authenticity on social media in general
mm,
is because sometimes, and I used to do this a lot, and that's why I don't post as much, but I'll say the reason why is because we're seeking, or we're using these platforms as the tool for validation and the tool to heal, when we shouldn't, we can't. Like we need other tools, and then we can come to social media, and if we decide to share. But
true.
like if we just see social media as like the place where like we're liked and loved and seen, then of course you're going to want to share on there.
Mm,
But of course it's going to be manipulated to like make sure that there's like a guaranteed scene, a guaranteed like you were heard on here.
yeah.
And like you just can't guarantee that stuff. And the way that you can't guarantee that stuff is if like you do it in private. You said you journal, like
Yeah.
it's not guaranteed that anyone's gonna see it unless you show them, you
Mhm.
know? Um, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's when you're the most honest, like in your own privacy,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Seriously. And so I think get comfortable enough with that, and then don't be afraid to share it,
Yeah.
like wholeheartedly, like
I guess
it's a
too,
jump kind of thing.
yeah, it is a jump because it's scary, but I think part of it is artistry as well. Like I feel like if I'm
Mm,
writing anything, yeah, it's the performance aspect, I guess again. I guess I'm
even
just
in your
seeking
own journal.
validation. No, my
Okay.
journal, no, my journal is like I can do anything in my journal.
But
Um,
that's pure art.
that's true
That's
too.
that's
That's
like
true.
that's the purest art. I'm telling you, that dark shit. Yo, I wrote something the other day. I literally kissed my notebook and threw it. Seriously, because
I love
I
that.
I was on the toilet and I was sobbing, crying, and I was just writing like a mad woman. I was writing like a mad woman, and like after I kissed my notebook, I'm like, I need to write like that every time when I'm gonna write poetry. Write like that. And I
Yeah.
didn't share it on social media, anything like that, but like I felt seen by me, and that was enough for
Mm,
me.
yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people don't know that feeling because we're going straight to social media to like find that fix to get our morning cup of validation. Like we
True.
gotta quit that, you know?
Yeah. Shake
Um
it off like your dog.
oh, you heard. But
But
man, like yeah, like that stuff that you're writing in your journal, that like
I feel like I needed to hear
that's
that
the real shit.
because I think
Yeah.
that's the thing about artistry is I just always feel like anything I release or anything I put out has to be like quote unquote perfect
Perfect.
when it doesn't when I
Mm.
when I know that that doesn't exist. Like I'm so aware of it, but it's still like a thing that I have to like reprogram in my head that like you know what I mean? It's my art. It could literally be anything.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah.
I'm wondering how, like, in what spaces do you find yourself like most natural?
Most natural. I don't know. I don't know. Obviously, when I'm alone, probably when I'm in the shower,
Mm. Okay.
like, or even, yeah, I think in the shower.
What is that like? I mean, I can assume, but like,
I
what
just feel like
is
I'm
a an
calm.
experience in the shower with you, or
Yeah,
not with you? You get it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yo, you want to experience shower with me? Um, yeah, no, I feel well, I'm obviously like in my most natural state, so I'm naked, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Um, and then I'm usually like thinking and I'm usually calm. So
Mm.
I feel like any other time of day, there's some like anxious, like I'm always kind of like tense in my stomach, like most of the day, you know,
Mm-hmm.
my jaw, whatever. But like in the shower, I'm like calm. I can kind of just like freely think about like what's going on. I'm usually not rushing when I'm in the shower. So it's just like
Mm-hmm.
usually a chill time.
Mm.
Um, in a time where I really explore my thoughts too. For some reason, it just feels like you have like the time in the world to do anything in the shower, you
All the
know?
time in the world.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, where do you feel most
Yeah.
natural?
Well, before I answer that question,
I tried.
you did try to redirect. Like, yeah, but how about you though? Um, yeah, I think you brought up really, really important elements that I'm sure resonate with a lot of people. Feeling calm, exploring your own thoughts, naked. Um, I assume you have no makeup on, or if you do, it's already
Mhm,
running off your face, you know?
mhm,
Um, not being in a rush. I really, really, really encourage you to take those elements and see what other parts of your life you are already being that, or you want to be that,
mhm,
or you're just completely not doing that at all. And I think it's interesting how it circles all the way back. I'm saying it circles back because it with those elements, that's how we can find community
mm,
when you are your most natural. Like, who do you feel most natural around? Start hanging out with that person more, or people more, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, because man, like we don't got time to be not natural out here.
Yeah. I think that's something that's coming with age. Like I'm starting to just get better with being myself, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I don't know. I think this is a little to the left, but not really. But I think like, I don't know. I think I just, I don't know.
Say it.
I was gonna
Say
say,
it.
this is like a side note. Like we were talking about people that were around, and I was thinking, well, because I just enjoy being codependent sometimes, most of the time, I enjoy being around people who don't necessarily like know me as my natural self. Like I just keep friends. I just keep friends to keep friends. I love everyone and I genuinely love everyone, but it's also like sometimes to my detriment, you know? So I'll just keep friends for years and years and years, and I check on everyone because I love everyone. But at the same time, it's like, am I being my natural self with all of these people? Is that even possible? I mean, I'm sure it is, but like, you know, how much can you be showing up for everyone? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's where my mind went. Yeah. I mean,
that's mad insightful.
Yeah.
That's very insightful. And I'm sure a lot of people feel like that too. It's interesting. My mind went to clothes.
Clothes?
And maybe it seems like clothes. I know it seems irrelevant, but I'll tie it in. Okay. How much clothes do we have in our closet that like we just don't wear?
Yeah.
But when we're ready to like declutter, we look at it, we're like, oh, I'll wear it eventually.
And it's like
and
hard to let it go too.
Yeah, it's hard to let it go. It's like, man, I haven't worn this shit, so I has a tag on it, you know? Yeah. I think sometimes it's the same thing with people, you know? It's like, all right, this person doesn't make me feel the most natural, but like, I'll need them eventually, you know? I'm not gonna burn that bridge, or like, they know someone that can connect me with them, and like, I don't know. Yeah. It can get weird, you know? But I think there's a lot of power in like cultivating friendships that make you feel like you.
Yeah.
Like in your whole, full, raw, dark, light, authentic self. Like,
yeah. I feel like I'm just getting there. I feel like, oh my gosh, I'm saying I feel like a lot, but
you got feelings, girl.
I just feel for the past few years, I think it's just now coming to my attention that like I need to be more intentional about every single category in my life. I used to kind of just like wide span everything and think like being a good person, like I'm doing good things, you know, I can keep everything and it could all just be like perfect. But I'm starting to realize like, no, I need to be very specific and I need to be very intentional about like this and that, and cultivating spaces that I feel comfortable in and other people feel comfortable in being their natural selves too, you know? And I've always thought of myself as someone like, you know, that encourages people to be their most natural self. But if I'm not being my most natural self, like how is that like then affecting them, you know?
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna ask a left field question.
Okay.
Your closest people, think about your closest people. Do you fart in front of them?
More of a burper.
Okay.
But I mean, yeah, like my partner, I'll fart by. But I'll be like, hey, I'm about to fart. Like I haven't gotten to the level where I'm just gonna fart. Even though they're silent, I gotta call myself out just to feel better about myself.
Fine. Yeah, that's fine. You know, I asked this question because my little cousin said a few years ago, I separate my friends by the ones I can fart with and the ones I can't.
Genius.
And I was just like, yeah. Yeah, I feel you.
That's a deep piece of knowledge.
Yo, she has no idea how much that stuck with me, because I was just like, literally, I meet people and I'm like, can I fart around this person though? You know? And I know it seems like whatever, but it's actually like a physical, obviously it's a physical release. And if I cannot just like allow my body to function naturally how it wants to, because I'm a burper and a farter. And if I can't allow myself to just be that.
Yeah.
you know, like he said, cut it. It's challenging for me to show up in other ways.
Yeah.
And I know for some people, they're like, what, girl, you need to, what? But seriously, I can't, it's hard for me to continue to like just be authentic because I'm just holding myself back, you know?
Yeah.
But I do realize that people I can fart around just freely with warning or without, burp around freely, or just like my armpit stink, whatever. Like I feel so relaxed around those people.
Yeah.
And like
That's probably the first thing for me this year is armpit smelling. Like just letting my natural smell go. Like I just don't care at this point. And I think that
you're like, my thing stinks.
So if we're talking about scents, most people close to me understand that I just wear natural deodorant at this point. I can't control every day.
I put on baking soda.
Baking soda.
Baking soda. Yeah. It works really good.
Yeah.
And
do you make your own thing,
water,
or you just powder baking soda? Just powder it on. Okay. You know, some people make like a baking soda like paste. You know how you could do that?
Yeah, but nah. I just slap it on. I'm just like,
all right.
Yeah. Anyways, I know we kind of went off, but I hope it's understood. And this goes for both of us. Even when I speak, I like literally I'm listening to myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, all right, like don't say these words unless you're gonna listen to them, Sophia.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I just, I wish for the both of us that like that we first like feel like we don't have to perform for ourselves. Yeah, that's been a thing for me this year. You know, like literally I've looked at myself in the mirror. I'm like, who are you fooling? Like, you don't have to pretend you're not sad, or you don't have to like pretend like you got it all together. You don't. Like, you are literally falling apart right now. Like, stop. Just let yourself fall apart. You don't have to pick shit up, you know? And I think once I allowed myself to do that, the other people who were allowing me to fall apart, I've like kept them in my life, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How do you work through times like that? Like when you're falling apart, like what are some practices that you have that help you get through like the dark shit?
Yeah. I feel it, Kayla.
Yeah.
It sounds like a simple statement, but it's just contrary to how I used to be, where I would just numb it. Like, oh shit, something's coming up. Let's numb it. And numbing it looks like hanging out with people constantly, back to back. Numbing it looks like just being on my phone all the time. Numbing it looks like drinking alcohol. Numbing it looks like just doing things that are distracting me from like how my body actually feels physically, mentally, emotionally. Yeah.
I think that's
some practices. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think that it's great that you listed those off, because I think sometimes people forget that hanging out with people could be a form of, and even your phone, just like the dopamine release and stuff. But like, absolutely. I think those are things that we overlook as like numbing, Yeah,
absolutely. I think, people are addictions, whether we know it or not. Like, people are addictions because they, especially people that like show us sides of ourselves that enhance our image, right? Like we want to keep hanging around those people, so we keep texting them, we keep calling them, we keep wanting to hang out with them, which is fine. It's nice to have your image enhanced, but like it just gets to a point where like, wait, what would you be without this person? And so like my main tool is just like, be with Sophia. Something that I've been doing these last few months since my breakup is kind of like this self-therapy, where I'll go on a walk with my headphones. And it's an ego thing, whatever, but I'll put on headphones and just start talking to myself. Like I'll literally have a conversation with myself. Like, all right, so what's on your mind? Tell me what's on your mind. And so then I start expressing, and then like I'll hold back. I'm like, don't hold back. Don't hold back. Just express. Stop judging yourself. Okay, continue. Why are you thinking that? And I do that as a form of like just being my own friend, you
Yeah.
know? And I'm not saying that like that should be everyone's form of therapy. Some people really need real therapy. And I was doing that for a little bit, which was really helpful. But anyways, yeah, talking to myself, it
Yeah.
just made me feel more sane and more like,
Is this
all right.
something that you just started, or it's something you've been doing for a while?
I've talked to myself for a long time, but very not as I honestly have a very good relationship with myself. Um I would say I know myself pretty well in that like I know when I'm being real, I know when I'm being fake, I know when I need to get it together. I know I don't know, like I am my own homegirl.
Ooh.
You like that?
Yeah, I do.
You know, but that shit takes time, you
Yeah.
know, that shit takes time and it takes practice. And like, I think where some people have it confused is that because you're with yourself 24/7, you think that you just love yourself or
Yeah.
you think that you just know yourself and you don't.
Yeah.
You may know pieces of yourself, but it takes effort. The same effort that you're putting in to like learn a romantic partner or learn a friend, like you need to be doing those same things with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, take yourself out to eat, take yourself for a walk, you know, write letters to yourself. Like
Yeah.
it's practices that like, yeah, you're extending yourself to nurture yourself. And yeah, that's the main thing that I do. Just like spend time with myself.
Man, you make me feel like, dang, Kayla, you gotta work harder. But like, I know that's not
But
what
that
your
shouldn't
intention
scare
was.
you.
But
No, yeah, but that shouldn't scare you. Like,
no,
don't
not
let
at
it
all.
scare
It
you.
doesn't scare me. It just makes me think like, wow, how did I not think about having like, because I have conversations with myself all the time, but they're not like, they're not therapy sessions, which I think is such a great
Mm,
idea. They're more like, I just always talk to myself. I cheer myself on. I do like random little things like that, but I'm
fire,
like, oh,
yeah.
that's cool that you have, the therapy sessions to yourself.
Yeah,
I
make it
might adopt
intentional
that.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, make it intentional. You know, there have been moments like in my self-talks where like I'll tell myself like dig deeper, like you're holding back from something, dig deeper, you know? And
Yeah.
then once I dig deeper and like really just let the truth out, I'm like, good, there you go. There you go, Sophia. You know? And so
Nice. Yeah.
I literally feel like a parent talking to a kid and like
Yeah.
training them to be honest, you know? To be
Yeah.
honest with yourself is the realest. I think that's like my life's purpose.
That's cool.
To just
That's a
like
good
be
purpose.
honest, you know?
Yeah. I wish that was
Yeah.
the purpose of more people. But that's good. Starting with
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
Where can our listeners find you at?
So my personal page is so like so. And then the vibes included Instagram is vibes included.
Oh, you have a real one that's just SO?
Well, no, it's actually so like so.
Oh, so
Like
like so.
the three
Okay,
words.
okay.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
thought you
yeah.
were like so, like, and I
No,
was like,
yeah,
oh,
because my
okay, so
nickname.
got it. Got
Yeah,
it.
no, my nickname for a long time was so.
Got
So
it.
yeah.
Well, thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Thank you,
I'm
Kayla.
gonna
I really yeah, thank you for finding me again and like just wanting to do this. And yeah, to all the people you've already done it with and the people in the future, yeah, just thank you for holding this space for us to be real.
yeah, it's my pleasure.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.